Today I've been joined by one of St Kilda's AFLW players, Alice Burke from the Saints. Alice, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now, Alice, how did your footy journey start about, obviously all the way back in junior Sandy Dragons times? How did the footy journey start for you?
Yeah, mine was it's probably a bit traditional for the way most women get into footy these days. I was a cross
Mm.
coder from soccer, so I actually
Mm.
didn't start footy till I was 15, I think.
Yeah.
Played just for school in the under nines team, but not under nines, but nine aside, and
Yeah.
yeah, ended up being lucky enough to play with Sandy Dragons after that from a local team, and yeah, it just kind of I enjoyed it so
Mm.
much I decided to make the swap from soccer and never went
Mm.
back.
That's good. Was it an easy transition from soccer to footy? Was there ever any pondering at the time that if you wanted to make the move, or was it kind of in your family too to kind of make a nudge to make that move?
Yeah, well, I have two older sisters. So I'm the youngest, and
Mm.
both
Yeah.
of my sisters were also playing soccer. So if
Ah.
anything, there was probably more of a push to stay in it than leave.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was honestly the biggest difference was just how big of the like the field, the players, how many people you have on the ground, like how much you're allowed to tackle. There was so
Mhm.
many differences, but it was so much more fun. It's a much more free game. There's a lot more that can
Mm.
happen. It's not as predictable. Pretty much fell in love with it straight away. So
Mm.
as soon as I started it, there wasn't much doubt. So I was pretty much converted straight away.
That's good. How when you first started at Sandy Drews, making that transition over from soccer to footy, starting at Sandy, how was it like? Did it take a while to get adjusted? Was it something that just clicked straight away? How did that start off?
Oh, yeah, it definitely took a while to adjust. I wasn't used to having people 360 all around you because I used to play in defense and soccer. So, like, I only ever
Mm.
looked one direction. I was only
Mm.
forward. So, definitely took some getting used to with the senses.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I was really lucky. I had a good coach, Tamara Hyatt, who's ironically now the coach of Bulldogs. So,
Yes.
yeah, she really helped me integrate into it. And it was new going to any different sport when you're
Yeah.
young, but I don't think there's any sport like footy where you have to be so aware of so many things at once. So definitely took some getting used to.
For sure. I mean, the Bulldogs, in a different way to what people may expect, is kind of, I suppose, a side that you've somehow got a bit of connections with because your dad obviously was coaching in one of your first AFLW games, and then now you just mentioned Tam, who was the coach last year against the Saints for Bulldogs in Ballarat. It must be a weird turn of events that your dad and someone that you looked up to is the same coach for the same club you've come up against a few times.
Yeah, Bulldogs has always been an interesting one whenever I verse it. It seems like there's always
Mm.
some personal ties to the team.
Yes.
Um, doesn't help too that I know quite a lot of the girls in the team. I'm good friends with some of them. So
Mm.
it's a bit like that when you first every team, you kind of know a few people here and there.
Yeah.
But Bulldogs is definitely had a few more ties there. My first game definitely made it a lot more special, but definitely had to get used to hearing my dad yell and know that he wasn't yelling at me. So that was a change.
Yeah, how was that transition going into footy? Obviously, being a father-daughter selection at St Kilda, I'm sure is a huge honour. But when you did get picked up by the Saints officially, Alice, did you feel any added pressure knowing anyone that comes out of the father-daughter or father-son system that there's some form of a pressure? Did you feel any of that pressure once you were officially on the Saints list?
Um, yeah, but to be honest, I don't think it was much more than the pressure anyone would find
Yeah.
when you're lucky enough to get selected. Like anybody who comes in, you feel like you really have to earn your place going into any team. So I feel like it's kind of hard to top that pressure in the first place. But there's always a
Mm.
little bit of wanting to play the style that my dad played because he was a very
Mm.
hardworking, hard at it player. And I definitely didn't want to I wanted to live up to that legacy, so I've
Mm.
always tried to take a little bit of that into my game with how I play. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, coming into any team, you're very, very nervous about wanting to earn your spot there.
For sure. Now, obviously, being a defender in soccer, as you mentioned, coincidentally, that's also happened into a footy space as well. Now, you probably may remember, well, you would remember the incident where you got your first ever, and currently, for now, only the AFLW goal you got at Moorabbin against Hawthorn. Do you recall this moment, and how special was that?
Yeah, I don't think I'll forget that anytime soon. I remember marking it and thinking, "Oh, what am I doing so close to the goals? Like, I'm not usually this high up." But one of my teammates, Ella Friend, turned to me and said, take your time, take the shot, because I was immediately looking to pass it off to somebody. But yeah, it's not something you'll forget. I think I carried on for a fair bit after I got that goal because I was quite excited.
For sure, and rightfully so. It's a moment that no matter if you're playing in the forward line, back line, wherever, it's always a special moment. Now, this you probably won't remember, but in that moment, you got your first goal. I did post that all the way back a few years back when you did that, and I remember you commenting on it. So that was a good moment, and obviously, it's great to see. And I remember that clip because I actually was watching it back last night. It must be a real special one too. And then you have everyone get around you, and right in front of the cheer squad in that side where the crowd is, and want to make it even sweeter.
Yeah, it was pretty good. When I watched it back, I realized my boyfriend was actually right behind me in the video. So
Oh, was he?
slice was kind of in the end, yeah.
Yeah, full circle moment there for sure. Hopefully, now there will be one this year. Now, obviously, playing in the backline, mainly, so goals aren't always a thing for anyone that's a defender, really. Is that in terms of the role you expect to play this year? Is it more of a similar role to what you've been playing in your 40-plus game career so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've taken a lot more of a defensive stance in my role the last few years. So this year, I
Mhm.
really want to branch out and try and work on that halfback run off the back. And yeah, I mean, everybody wants to always say they want to be more offensive, but I think just making sure that we nail that defensive strategy too. Just you never want to be the person who lets somebody pass to get a goal. So probably a
Mm,
bit similar to previous years, but I think St Kilda as a whole, we are really big on wanting to turn the ball up higher in the ground. So don't want to
yeah.
have to wait for it to get into our back half before we start defending. And because of that, I think the coaches are pretty keen for the back line to actually get involved a bit more in our
Mm.
offensive play.
For sure. There's been lots of new recruits this year. Charlotte Basker and Amber Clark, just two to name a few that come to mind straight away. Both recently had them both on, so just happy coincidence and good timing. I must be really happy to bring in some really good recruits and young recruits as well that have already lighted up the field at Hawthorn and Essendon, respectively.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They've been a great asset so far since they've come in. We haven't been training too long, but they've already made an
Mm.
impact. I think Dell, our coach, already highlighted several instances where Amber Clark's made a chase down tackle in training and she's bringing the effort we want to see. Charlotte with Baskran, she's got 5 nicknames so far at the
Actually,
team. So yeah, she's got Shazza, Bazza, Carol, a bunch of different ones. So hard to keep up with all of them. But yeah, they fit right in, all the new girls. So I'm really keen to see what happens this season.
for sure. Does it, even though some of those girls aren't playing in the position that you play, but does it always like kind of have that fire to make sure you are performing? Because knowing if, there's a few bad patches for anybody, that you've got some good backup now. I'm not saying there'll be backup, but like in terms of everyone else, you got already on top of those girls coming in, that the pressure for spots is on, and it's a good thing to have.
Oh, 100%. You need that competition in training because when you do match
Mm.
sim and everything during the season, if you don't have everyone pushing to fight for their spot, you're not making the others better anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that competition's really pivotal when it comes time to actually making sure your team gets better.
For sure. Now, going back to your debut game against the Bulldogs, is that obviously a moment you obviously cherish as your dad was the opposition coach and you're playing your first AFLW game as a whole? Do you recall that moment? How was that day? Was there any banter between your dad and yourself through that day? How was that whole day for you? I'm sure it was very wild.
Yeah, well, I was actually living with home, so I asked Dad, I was like, "You want to drive to the game together?" But it wasn't too keen, so we
Yeah.
drove separately from home at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got there, it was he's very good at switching into the business mode, becomes coach, and we pretend we
Yeah.
don't know each other. But yeah, it's when it was play because obviously Dad used to coach from the bench. He wouldn't go up in the box, so
Yeah.
I'd be running past the field and I'd see my dad standing yelling at people. I'm like, oh, you do a bit of a double take, going, "What are you doing over here?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's afterwards was probably something I won't forget. Going over to hug him at the end, I was just so excited to have finished my first game. So it was definitely he plays a good balance of being the coach and also being my dad. Whenever
Yeah.
he's with me at home, he's just my dad. He's helping me with my footy. But
Yeah.
yeah, that day he was in coach mode right up until I ran and hugged him. So yeah,
Mm.
that was nice.
And I'm glad you brought that up. It's probably one of the great footy moment photos that has been captured. And here is that said photo there, Alice. Must be a pretty cool one.
Yeah, looking nice and sweaty after the game.
Well, that means you did something, so that's a good thing.
Yep.
For sure. Now, obviously, what do you feel like, obviously, in your 40-plus games, Alice, what would you say is one game that's kind of a breakout game for you that's kind of, you feel like that's got you to belong in the competition, or such as a complete standout game that you feel like you've had in your career so far?
Yeah, I think it's hard to judge because the things I value in my game are things
Mhm.
like tackles and chases and the selfless things that don't really count too much towards your stats. So it's
Yeah.
a bit iffy, but I think the first game I feel like I actually made an impact was probably it might have been GWS, but it was in my first season. It was a game where
Yeah.
it was just absolutely bucketing down and pouring, and I was still very new. So I always had the mindset that if it's raining, it's good because I'm quite short. So it
Yeah.
means I'm lower to the ground than most people. And if the ball's on the
Yeah.
ground, that's better for me.
Mm,
And I just remember going out and I think I got 10 tackles in that game. And it was kind
nice.
of my first time where I realized this is what I really want to bring to the team. Like, this is what I
Mhm.
can do for my teammates and bring that energy and work rate and tackling. So, yeah, it's something I've wanted
Mm,
to keep up with definitely because
mm,
I'm not one of those flashy skills players or someone who gets a lot of goals. So,
yeah.
it's really important that you have something that you feel like you can do for your teammates.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yes, goals are great, and every time I played and every time I do goal kicking challenges, obviously, hence doing goal kicking challenges means I love kicking goals, right? But it's not always about that, although I like to think that, but it's not always about that.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, you talk about rain and about that Giants game. Do you remember recall the game last year? I'm pretty sure you were playing. Was that Swans game last year? Ad Moorabbin in that rain. Talk about rain and bucketing. I don't think you get much worse than that.
Yeah, I think that was that round 1 or that was pretty early in last season?
Um,
Um,
I think it was probably halfway, I think, maybe, against the Swans and
oh,
Moorabbin.
yeah, okay. Nah,
It's
it was
something like that.
definitely yeah, they fixed Moorabbin's ground, so it's not as bad as what used to be back in the day when they would flood it before games, but yeah,
Yes.
it's quite fun in the rain, but I remember that one was a real, like, oh, it was a hard fight. Sydney's a good
Mm.
team, and you really need to stay on top of
Yeah.
your toes to even keep up with them, so I think with St Kilda's history, we've been quite used to when the ball was in your D50 and you get it out and it comes back in. It's been a bit of a rebound game for us in a few of
Mm.
those years. So I'd say our backline's pretty used to it, but it just means you get good at fighting hard in those times. So I'll
Mm.
be honest, I can't actually remember too well what the scores were, but yeah,
We
they're a
won,
good
so
team.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
But it's good team, but
Mm.
definitely any rain game I think is kind of good in our favour because we're
Mm.
kind of used to fighting out those dogfights.
Mm. Yeah, I remember that game so well because I vlog every game I'm at, and I was like just standing, leaning on the fence. And some people, when I went back to people during the breaks, and they go, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, no, I've got videos to film. I'm staying out there. I'm not filming on my phone from a mile away. I'm going to be in the closest you can get.
You've got your job to do.
Exactly. Yeah, they got the job to do. Not that it's paid or anything. I just because I want to do it, right? Doing a channel, so therefore you do it. Now, what team do you pencil in on the fixture, Alice, each year that you want to compete against? Obviously, unfortunate at the moment we don't always get to play everyone each year, which hopefully soon is the case. What's one team or a few teams or particular venues in that you like to pencil in each year, Alice, and you go, I want to be facing them, and I hope we do, and I hope it goes the way we want.
Yeah. Oh, that's an easy one. 100%. I want to play Collingwood. I think we played them 2 years ago was the last time, and we came out on top. I think I've spoken to all my teammates about this. That still goes down as one of our favorite games. I think we were down by 5 or something at halftime and
Mm.
ended up coming back. So no matter when we play them, it's always a good fight, I think, and you know that they're going to bring it. So I'm really excited to see that we have them in our fixture again this year, and I
Yeah.
think all our girls are kind of ready to go for that one. It's exciting when you can feel the whole team get energetic about a game. So yeah.
For sure, yeah, definitely Collingwood. Obviously, no matter in what competition, is always the side that you want to be because they're obviously pretty well classed in almost every league they're involved with, whether that's AFLW, AFL, VFLW. The whole size is all normally pretty good. Is there a moment in that fixture you look at now? Obviously, it was released last week. Is there? You're happy with the fixture? You're happy with the balance of home games? Are you someone that likes interstate trips, Alice? What did you think overall of the fixture?
Yeah, I think they did it really well this year. I haven't seen too many of the other teams' lineups, but I think the
Mm.
coaches had a chat with the AFL about making sure that in your fixture, teams play a certain amount from the top, bottom, and
Yes, the
middle
brackets. Yep.
of the
Middle
ladder
six. Yep.
last year. Yep, yep. So I think it should turn out to be a lot more fair, I think.
Mm,
In terms of home games, I think we have been pretty lucky in that aspect. I think we have 6 or
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is pretty good half. Yeah, and then traveling, I'm
Mm,
pretty fine with interstate games. I'm
mm,
somebody who likes my alone time a little bit, so whenever we get
yeah.
to the hotels, I'll kind of just hole up in my room with a book or something while a few of the
Mm,
others go out and get coffees and things. But
mm.
yeah, it doesn't bother me too much playing interstate. I think we've got Cairns this year, so
Yes, you do. Yes.
yeah,
The
that'll be
Hawthorn,
interesting.
yeah.
I've never been there, so I think last time we played North Queensland, was against Gold Coast in Mackay,
That's right.
and I remember
Yeah.
coming home with almost third-degree sunburns from that, so I'll be taking my sunscreen this time.
Yes, that's a good one. Definitely to recommend to do that. For sure. Now, how's pre-season been so far? Obviously, only been a few weeks so far. How's the time trials been and everything like that, and everything in between?
Yeah, preseason's a good time because you don't have too much pressure on you yet, so everyone's
Mm.
just really big on bonding and getting to know everyone and doing your best you can. Unfortunately, I started it with I had a grade 2 strain in my quad
Uh,
at the
yeah.
start, but that got better, and then fortunately now I've torn my AC, so I'm a few
Mm,
weeks out recovering from that, but at the same time, I've been pretty lucky that they're not injuries that keep me out of it, so I'll be able
mm,
to still stay fit and keep doing my gym. So that's all good. In terms of the team, we've had a bit of a shuffle around with our coaches as well. So we've got Chris Gammers and Scoobs. I got to
no,
remember
from the
my coach's
Bulldogs,
actual
yes.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's come across as our backline coach, and honestly, it's good just having a bit of a reset. New
Mm,
You get new people in, you get new opinions, new views on things, and different coaching styles. So it's good to have a bit of
mm,
a shuffle up because you feel like you've really got a new look for the team. And I personally, I've had a lot of contact with Scoobs because he's our backline coach. And
yeah.
honestly, I just love him. He's a really good guy. I really like the
Mm,
ideas he's bringing to the group. And yeah, well,
mm.
hopefully that resonates through the games.
Sure. Now I hear about. I asked all these people these questions, and I like asking teammate questions, and we get to very shortly. Now, people seem to have their crew of people. They're, like you can just see it from posts, even if you don't know it personally from any club. You can kind of see who's with who and everything like that. Sometimes it's the people that are the same age, or even a mixture of ages, or it's like their backline crew, their forward line crew, whatever. Have you got is the Saints backline crew title, or is yours a bit different and a bit mixed everywhere else?
Oh, that's an easy one. Our backline is a very tight-knit group. We say
Mm,
we're a family within the family, so I'm pretty close with all of them. We're a
mm.
very different group of people. So we've got Serene, who's very out there, and she's in all of
I
our
knew you'd
social
say
media
that.
posts. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a bit more reserved, I think. I try to avoid the social media posts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we're a really good cohesive group. So I feel like we don't have too many cliques or any of that going on, but at the same
Mm,
time, yeah, you're right, everyone does have their little buddy groups that they go to.
mm.
But the back line, I think we're definitely a really strong unit.
Yeah, sure, that's good. And I knew what I was going to get brought up because I know her as well, and I just know that everyone always says that. I mean, you don't even have to know a person to know this. I feel like you just see the post and you can just tell off that, right? But
Yeah.
obviously, speaking of what, from a positive point of view for her, though, a very good backline player and just over 50 games and killing it at the moment since moving across on the Suns.
Mhm. Oh, 100%. She's changed to the way our backline runs. She's the main voice in our group. And
Mm,
it's good, like, whilst we have a lot of vocal girls who talk in our backline, it's good to have someone who's just extra loud and kind of revolves around a little bit. So we
mm,
all do our part, but yeah, it definitely helps tie everything together. And she's been doing amazing in terms of her off ball run, handball
mm,
receives, marking. Yeah.
Sure, and I think some people do forget too. Last year, albeit just falling out from finals, that Georgia Patrikios didn't play a single game last year. So you're adding those new recruits. It's like a new face in a way from the on-field perspective. Nice to have Georgia back in that now very stacked midfield.
Yeah, I know. We had a really young in terms of experience midfield last year with Charlotte Simpson coming on and Kira
Yeah.
and as well as a few others from our forward running through there. Unfortunately, Doc, we call George Patrickos Doc, but yeah, she
No,
had a
that's
bit
right.
of a bad run with
Yes.
injuries, which is never ideal. You know, same with Nick Zenos. So
Mm.
hopefully we'll have all of them back and ready to go. But yeah, it's been a while since I've played with Georgia Patrickos back in the game. So it would be really good to have her back. And just Jamie Lambert as well. Like, she's an absolute unit. She can get whatever injury you give her and she'll still be playing on the weekend.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, I love asking teammates questions, Alice, so this could go any which way. The first one, who loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at the Saints, and they can't get enough of it and they know what to do when the camera's around? I'd say that, but I probably know your answer.
Yeah, I think you do probably already know it. I'd have to say Serene. She's just really good with it. She's a really big extrovert.
Sure. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because didn't recently you get put into the position of having to do a day in the life or something like that in the car and everything?
Oh, yeah, I think last season.
That last year, yeah.
That was about as far out of my comfort zone as I've stepped since I joined the club.
I thought it might have been.
Yeah, I know. I try to avoid it, but the media team told me they actually spun a wheel, and whoever's name it landed on had to do it. So I was the unlucky recipient.
Oh, damn. Stiff. Now, if you were stuck on a deserted island with teammates, Alice, who would you want to bring and not bring, and why?
Oh, I would honestly bring Paige Trudgeon. I feel like she's a really good all-rounder. She's strong, she's tall, so she can reach high things.
Yes.
She's also just a really good mate. She's good to talk to. In terms of who I wouldn't bring, that's a good question because I feel like I like all my teammates, but at the same time, I love Natalie Plain, but we have a bit of a thing running joke in the team at the moment that she's not good with personal space. Every time we do our line up, she's got to be right behind you.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can think of because, to be honest, there's not too many negatives I can think of in the team.
No, that's fair. Now, this is a question I've only just recently asked someone, and I'm keen to see where you go with this answer because I don't know who you'll pick here. Now, if you had to trust someone with your life on the team to kick a goal to save you, who would the person be ultra confident in kicking a goal?
Oh, I'd say Jessie Wardlaw. She's
God.
probably a bit predictable as well, but I had the unfortunate incident of having to smother one of her kicks for goal the other day, and I'm pretty sure I've got the Sharon logo imprinted on my arm from it. So, yeah, I definitely back her.
Steph. Now, which teammates would watch your own highlights and Google themselves?
Oh, this one's a bit of a long shot, but I have a feeling that Charlotte Simpson could do that. Maybe I'll have to ask her.
Maybe. I mean, if there's any highlights, I mean, sometimes you can use it as a positive and a negative in a way. Like you could see it to say, oh yeah, look, it can kind of flex a little bit and go, this is great. But then also it can be a learning curve as well. Like, but generally highlights are good things, right? They're not normally your bad moments or off moments or whatever. But you can kind of learn from it, I guess, in a way, or feed it off to someone else. Go, hey, see, I can do this, so you should be doing this too.
Yeah, 100%. It's also important to go into a game feeling confident about yourself. I know a few people who like to look at highlights and things just to know that this is what I can do and get that confidence before a game.
For sure. Some teammates that fly under the radar, Alice, that don't get talked about enough as much as you feel they should.
Yeah. I know Janome got the Rising Star nomination last year, and that was very well deserved. But she's by far probably one of the hardest working people we have on the team. If you can see her coming to tackle you in a game, you just got to run because she is going to absolutely take you out. And then also, that's a tough question. In all honesty, I think Molly McDonald, she does get a little bit of praise, but she does so much selfless running off the ball that nobody really sees. She is constantly running into our forward line to help them. She runs all the way back to our D50 to help the back line. She's pretty much everywhere you need her at once, and she by far clocks up the most Ks in the game. But yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that kind of goes unrewarded.
For sure. Now, just completely random question. Thanks, you gave me a train of thought there. Do you recall a bit of a quiz question, because there is going to be a quiz coming up, so this is separate to that.
Oh, no.
But do you recall which teammate was the first ever player for St Kilda to kick the first ever goal?
Oh, yeah, I was at that game watching. That's Molly.
Yeah. I probably should have waited a little bit to say that, considering you just brought her up, but that's how I thought of it. Yeah, first goal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's always a special moment to have as well.
Oh, 100%. I think she's got a big image of her at our Seaford club at the moment to
Oh,
commemorate that. But yeah, that was a special moment for the Saints.
for sure. That's definitely another, speaking about flexing, that's definitely another one to flex. Go, yeah, I'll just get the first goal for the club. No biggie.
Yeah, 100%.
Pretty cool.
Love that forever.
For sure. Favorite teammates of the club?
I feel like I'm pretty close with Paige Trudgeon and Nick
Yeah.
Stevens. They're my fellow backline people,
Yes.
but yeah, we always have some good chats together, and I feel like there's not much I could say to them that they wouldn't be there to listen to.
Yeah, nice. That's good. Good to have people like that. Coach's pet. Does Nikki Dowell have any coach's pets?
Okay, we've got a running joke that it's Molly.
I think I've heard that on, interviews in the past or on TV, or when something like that gets brought up. That seems to be an answer. I don't know why, but it's an answer I remember. I swear I heard that somewhere before. Might have been someone else.
I'm not sure where it came from, but I think it's because in our meeting theatre where we sit, she's always right front and centre, right in front of Dell. So might have been where it came from.
Yeah, that doesn't help her cause then if that's the case. Now, again, I probably know this answer, but best chatterbox of the club?
I would say Serene, but honestly, I reckon that could be rivaled by Natalie Plain.
Interesting. Competition, Motto's got. Interesting.
Yeah.
Competition can be a good thing. Now, loudest, again, this is, similar. Loudest and quietest teammates.
Oh, that'd be the same answer, Serene and Plano.
Yeah. The quietest?
Stitchy, Janome Simpson. Sorry, not Janome Simpson. Janome
Anderson.
Having a blank. Yeah, thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah, we call her Stitch because there's a sewing machine brand called Janome.
Well, there you go. Nice and basic. Sometimes that's the best way to go about it. Speaking of nicknames, while we're at it, what nicknames do you get? Berkey, I assume?
Yeah, Berkey. For a little while when I first started, I had the nickname Don, which somebody said I needed a nickname other than Berkey because that was my dad's one. So they decided to name me Don, which was daughter of Nathan. So I would probably prefer Berkey because at least that's my name.
That's very true. I'll call you Berkey from now on. So there you go. Right.
Yeah,
excellent. All good. Now, if any teammates would appear on a reality TV show or any form of a TV show, who would be on that TV show? And what would the show be?
Honestly, I could see Georgia Patrikios or Nick Xenos being on something like Love Island. They're both in committed relationships, so that probably takes it out anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I feel like they'd be the type of characters that would probably make that funny too.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, what TV show would you appear on if you had the choice, Berkey, to go on any show you want? What show would that be?
Oh, I've always been a huge fan of Survivor ever since I was little. I think my family's seen every single episode. So I think, honestly, if it wasn't for how long it would take and having to take time away from footy, I would have applied by now for it.
That's fair. Maybe that's a thing after footy sometime, maybe, if that's still going around. Now, it's funny. I feel like every time I ask that question, there's only two answers. It's Love Island or it's Survivor. I don't think I've rarely copped a different answer. So we'll see. Now, best singers or dancers at the club?
Sorry, what was the start of that one?
Best singer or dancer at the club?
Oh, Dal recently has shown us his dance moves. Unfortunately, I don't think that's something I want to see again. So, I feel like Hannah Priest has some good dance moves, our captain.
Interesting.
Best singer. Unfortunately, I don't think I've heard many good singers at the club. I've definitely heard some bad ones.
Yeah.
But in terms of good, no, I feel like everyone takes the piss out of themselves in our team when they sing. So hard to judge.
So no one would go well on Australian Idol or any of those singing shows or entertainment ones?
There'd be a good laugh on it.
And you get that. You'll get that. They're not going to make the final, though, unless that's how they're getting
No.
through by being funny.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think Nick Del Santo for the dance move one would have been on my bingo card either.
No, I think he tried to Irish dance for us when we had Grace Kelly last year, and
Yeah.
didn't go too well.
Oh, gee, that's not great. Now I'm going to go to some. Actually, one more on this one. If you could choose one song, Berkey, to play on the PA system after you kick a goal, which you've done at least once before, and they pick a song. You see some of the girls, they get all these songs, and I love it. Hawthorn are great at doing that. I think Brisbane do it as well in the men's. They have all these songs when they kick a goal, something comes on. What would your song be?
Oh, not gonna lie, I can't remember. This is gonna be really bad because my boyfriend goes for Brisbane, but I can't remember the player who has the Frozen song on.
The what song?
The Frozen song.
Oh, Joe Danaher when he retired.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, I could sing along to that any day.
There you go. Kick a few more goals. Make that a thing. Get them to play a song because I don't know if St Kilda have been doing that, but maybe that's something you can throw up there to get that going. I'll
I'll put in the suggestion.
Yeah, put in a submission. Put in a submission to see what happens. Now, if you could take 3 famous people for dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh, I think we played this the other day at footy, and I could not think of an answer. But dead or alive?
Anyone.
Oh, I'm gonna say honestly, I would love to do the Queen.
Oh yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, David Attenborough, because that's just child nostalgic.
Yeah.
And third one. Honestly, I'm really bad with names, but what's the name of the guy who plays Michael in The Office?
Now that one I'm stunned. That one I'm not sure. I know the show's about, but I don't really watch it. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you've made progress, Berger. You've made progress. You've gone from, as you said, the other not really having any answers to now getting through. So that's all right.
Yeah.
Now, how well, Berger, do you feel like you know your own teammates?
In terms of
No, just in general, I've very varied these clues. I haven't made them drastically hard because I never do. I cave in and make them easier, but I try and make them hard and also easy at the same time. So basically, these are just basic. Well, let's just look at the clues. Yeah, basically, they're all related to football clues.
Okay, I feel like I'd be all right.
All right, we'll see you go. So there is 7 of them. So how this will work? There'll be. I'll give you 2 clues to start off with. And then you get a guess. If you get it wrong, I'll give you one final clue, and then you would have to get that question correct off the last clue. So the first one, alrighty. Okay, so this player was a top 10 draft pick, and they've played 30 AFLW games. Or just over. No. Right, so the last clue for this one, Berkey, is they are a runner-up in the BNF 2 times.
In our BNF?
Yeah, and this is all St Kilda players only, by the way.
Oh, Georgia Patrikios?
No, T. Smith.
Oh, I should have gotten that, actually. She was in my draft year.
Yeah, she was, yeah. There we go. Ouch. All right, the next one. I feel like this one is probably the hardest one, if any. Now, so this player has played over 25 games. Now, it could mean anything. It could be 50, it could be 36, it could be anything. It might not just be just over 25. So they played over 25 games. They played in the VFLW prior to St Kilda at Port Melbourne.
Oh. I feel like I did know who played for Port Melbourne.
I did not know this until I looked these clues up.
Oh, I should know this. Charlotte Simpson? No, she came through when she was 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can I have another hint?
Yeah, all right. The last hint is they're a forward.
Oh, this is going to be shocking if I don't get this. I'm going through our whole forward group at the moment.
Yes. They're off the top, see, I don't have it in front of me, but off the top of my head, they're around the same age as you.
Yeah. Ash? No. I'm
No,
taking that back.
that's a
It's
no.
not Ash.
Okay.
That's not. No. I'm trying to think of people my age who didn't get drafted when they were 18.
I'd have to look up the exact age, but I'm pretty sure it's around you. It's definitely not much older, if it is older.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to go Darcy. I'm pretty sure it's
Locking in
not.
Darcy Guttridge.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be kicking yourself, Berkey, because it was Ash Richards.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
I know. 0-2. That's right. Now there was another quiz after this, which is just one that's more competitive as well. But 0-2. Now, I think when I've done these questions, I've varied the amounts. Sometimes I've done 5 and 3. You've got 7. So if you can get at least 3, Berkey, I think that's a solid effort. Right. So this player, yes, the pressure's on. So this player has kicked 7 goals in their AFLW career so far, exactly 7. They were from the Calder Cannons.
George Petruccius?
Yes, there we go. 1. Here we got 1 on the board. There we go. Got 1. At least it's not 0. Considering there's 7 questions, you wouldn't want 0. Right, no. The next one. Now, I'll give you a hint without it being a hint. This name's been mentioned already today. So, they've played 10 AFLW games exactly. They are from the Geelong area.
Oh, Charlotte Simpson.
Yeah, I knew you'd get that one. Because, I just accidentally gave a bit of a Geelong reference when you said Charlotte before. But it's like these names are coming and you're just getting clues to get ready for the next few. That's good. Right, 2 for 4, see? We're back. Right, this one. All right. They have not kicked an AFLW goal yet. They have played over 50 games. That's the 2 clues for now. Yep.
Serene?
Yes. The last clue was going to be a dead set giveaway. I was just going to say they're loud. And loud is good on a football field.
Yeah.
I knew you'd definitely get it. I would have been a bit worried if you didn't get that one. So 3 for 5, see? Killing it. Now, right. So this player has played for 2 AFLW clubs, St Kilda obviously being the current one, and they've kicked 3 AFLW goals in their career.
Oh, that could be a few people. Nick Barr?
Could be. No. Right, the last clue. Their height's off the screen.
Oh, okay. Reen Karras?
Yes, it is. Karras,
okay,
yes, that's correct. Yeah, see, on 4 for 6, Berkey, with 1 more to go. Now,
pretty happy.
That's good. Now, again, I'm not going to give you a reason why this one's been brought. I will tell you after you guess this last one. So, this player, at some point in their career, had signed, not necessarily this year, but at some point, they had signed a 3-year contract extension at some point throughout their career at St Kilda. And they've played over 25 AFLW games.
Okay, so they're currently in their 3-year contract, or?
Yes, they are. This is the contract year. If this stat is still correct. Yes.
Is that me?
Yes, it is. Glad you got it. Glad you know about yourself. There you go.
That's a funny story because I went into my exit meeting last year thinking it was the last year of my contract.
Oh, well, there you
got it mixed up.
Oh, there you go. I'm glad you got that because I'll tell you now, I've fooled more people than I have got them get it correct of themselves. Don't know how. Don't ask me how. Because I don't expect it. So that's why I do it. I don't always do it last. I do include it in there generally. Love to see who gets stumped on themselves. So I'm glad you got the question about yourself and know your own contract status now. So
yeah, that's a good trick question.
Thank you. I know. So 5 for 7. See, what were you worrying about? Start 0-2 and just went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, I'm glad I redeemed myself. I would have been pretty worried if I didn't do well on that.
For sure, 5 for 7. That can't get much better than that. Now, this is a quiz as well. This is a food-related quiz. This is the controversial food questions, Berkey. They, people get so worked up saying, no, you don't have this with that. No, it's called this and not called that. So basically, this one I've asked any person I've ever had on at any point in any league. So there's 5 food questions. So how this works is I'll ask you the questions. Is going off your answer. If your answer is how I would answer it, I'll give you a point. If your answer is not like me, you don't get a point. Now, the lowest score anyone's ever gotten out of 6 is a bunch of people on 3. No one has ever got 2 or less, and it's over 150 people have answered these questions. So you wouldn't want to be the first person on this fake honours board. I take the piss out of it normally, but at this point I've gotten this far. I might legitimately put something there or a sticker or something with their name on it because no one's ever done it before. Right, so the first one, chicken palmy. Is it a palmy or is it something else?
It's a Parma. I can't say otherwise.
Well, we're going to start with this.
To call it otherwise.
Yeah. Well, you are Victorian. Yes, so am I, but I can't answer that. Oh, okay. I know I'm probably not going to convince you, but I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to take a throw at the stumps like a cricket. So, which I won this year, by the way. So, if you spell out palmy, Berkey, right? It's Parmi, right? And if you pronounce it, it's Parmigiana, not Parmigiana. So, can you kind of see where the other side of the fence are at, or how did you come up with that?
I see where you come from, but I've never said, can I have a Parmigiana? I've only ever said, can I have a Parmigiana? So for me, I've only ever said it that way. So it makes sense to shorten it to Parma for me. And it's also what I've grown up with. If you live in, I feel like Melbourne, I know Geelong says Palmy, but everywhere else.
Yeah, we have a few that say that. Yeah, in Geelong, we got some that say that for sure. It's controversial, but anyway, Berkey, I tried, so that's all right. 0-1, obviously, so that's okay. Hey, you should start 0-2.
Sorry about that.
You're all right. So, 0-1, Berkey, let's hope you don't go 0-2, or maybe it might be good omen if you're 0-2 because you nailed it after that before. So, the next one is pineapple on a pizza, Berkey, yes or no?
That's a yes. I'll have anything on a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
That's okay. Hey, trust me, I've had people start like this and then they blitz the next 4. So it's okay. Not looking good for you. I might have to get something ready. Right, the next one. I've had a blank. Oh, yeah, tomato sauce, cupboard or fridge?
Fridge.
Okay, now I didn't want to tell you in advance, right? But I give everyone a point, Berkey, for this. The only way you wouldn't get a point for this one, and I feel like that's probably why no one's ever got under 3, even though it's only one question, is that unless someone said neither, then that's the only way you don't get a point. So 1 for 3.
Where would you put it if it's neither?
Well, they probably would say they don't like it, I'd assume, or they would something like, I don't know, somewhere where you wouldn't want it, basically. I don't know. How else would you want it exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. Right. Favorite food?
I feel like most people who play sport would say pasta. So I'm
pasta,
probably going to go basic. Stick with that.
Yeah. Yes, and that's what gets you a point. So that's great. 2 for 4. See, here the comeback is on. Yet again, Berkey. Right, the next one is food you don't like.
I'm really, really easy with food. I'll honestly eat anything as long as it's edible. I'm not the biggest fan of quiche, though.
Perfect. All right, you've at least got equal last at worst. So perfect. 3 in a row. So this trend's continuing. I love it. And just on a side note too, Matt Rowell obviously eats grass. You talk about not edible. How the hell could you do that? Would you ever do anything like that? What's your reaction to someone doing something like that?
To eating grass?
Yeah, he eats grass at every different ground he goes to or something, apparently, for Gold Coast. I can't believe it.
I feel like we have like the pancreas or something that's like supposed to digest grass, don't we? But still, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't eat grass.
No, I can't believe he does that. It's a thing now. There's clips of people doing it just to mimic what he does. But maybe that's a good thing. I mean, for him, that it's now catching on, but you can never see me do that, and I'm glad to the same there. Now, the next one, and this, so you got 3 out of the last 5. So good. The last one
Mhm.
is favorite takeaway / restaurant place. So not, it doesn't have to be a particular place, but like the type of food.
Mhm. We have this Korean place near us in Glenhully
Yep.
Road, and they do the best fried chicken. Um, Honestly, if I ever have a free night, 100% I'll go there.
Any particular go-to order with that? Like what's on it and everything?
Yeah, they've got cutbacks. So
Mhm.
I'm a big like I love my meat. I'm not vegetarian, but they have a really
Yeah.
nice tofu, like honey soy one, so I'll go that.
Okay. I'm going to give you half a point. So I don't mind part of that, but not the whole thing. So 3.5 out of 6 burgers. You're not equal last. So
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to get you off that list. So yeah, good job. Now
Glad I
some.
passed.
I know you passed the other one in flying colours. That's for sure. Now, now obviously I only get one goal in the AFLW, but that doesn't mean you can't answer this any way you want. Mark or goal of the year? Which one would you rather do, and why? It doesn't matter how unrealistic it is. Which one would you rather pull off?
I feel like mark of the year is kind of better because to do a really good mark, it's usually something like a specky, and I feel like a lot less people do that than people who get goals. So honestly, yeah,
Mm.
I'd probably choose that.
Yeah, I mean, I personally choose goals, but this is a 50-50 split, right? I mean, the only reason I choose a goal is because I feel like with a goal, you can kind of gloat about, like in the moment, you can kind of gloat for it for about 35 minute,
Yeah.
35 seconds to a
Yeah, that's
minute,
a
and then
valid
the mark.
answer.
Yeah, no matter where you mark it, it could be the best mark of all time. It could be just a great mark, and then you got to move on within 10 seconds, whether it's a set shot mark or anywhere else on the field.
Mm, yeah. I
Now,
would say I'm a person who doesn't like to carry on, but I think I did that a little bit when I got my first goal.
now I do recall it as I said, because I had it on my own vlog that game. But if you had another goal coming up, would you have a goal celebration planned?
I always said I had a goal celebration, like I wanted to do a cartwheel or something dumb, but honestly, in the moment, you just get too excited. You forget about everything else. You don't really know what to do besides run to your teammates and just cheer.
Yeah, it's definitely, I love it. I love seeing all these different forms of goal celebrations. Like even in my videos, I've always incorporated one, and now it's stuck because I just reached today, funnily enough, did a goal challenge again with someone else that I had on previously, and now they just knew, they're like, oh, so when you get a goal, you're going to throw your hat. Because normally I'll wear a hat and I'll just throw it off in anger. It's all right. It's part of the video. It's not actually legitimately getting angry, but it's just a thing now, right? They expect it. So it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I like that. And that's from the negative side of thing. The positive thing, I'll just do whatever. I'll just do the finger up in the air or something. Oh, I love seeing all these different ones that people do.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. I just don't
Mm.
think I'd have the clarity of thought if I got a goal to actually think of a celebration.
You think you might get swamped again like the first time, so you won't have a chance to do anything.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be running straight to my back line. So
Mm. No, that's definitely be another one. Now, Hmm. Now, so obviously you got the jump number, obviously an important number for your dad and obviously your whole family and yourself as well. Was that an automatic thing? Was that always going to happen? Was there ever chat of potentially going elsewhere and separating to have your own individual number? How did that all come about?
yeah, they ultimately gave me the choice with that. They said that the number 3, it was lucky it just happened to be open when I got drafted, and they said that I could have it if I wanted it, but it was also my choice if I wanted to take my own number and go my own route.
Yeah,
In the end, I think I chose to take the number purely because I wanted to become my own player, but
yeah,
it just felt really special to kind of put it on and remind myself of like he in the end is a really big role model for me. He's my dad, but he's
mm,
also an
mm,
amazing football player. So
mm,
it's just a good reminder to work hard and play as he did because he was really good at what he did. So yeah,
mm.
it was just like bringing a little bit of my family with me when I step on that ground.
For sure. No, definitely. It's obviously a good thing to cherish for sure. And speaking of cherishing, most prized possessions that you own, that could be absolutely anything.
Oh, I would have to say I've got my first jumper just in my
Mhm.
wardrobe here. That would probably be like one of them. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have too many others, so I've got a lot of books that I read, and I have my
Yeah.
favourite series in hardcover. I would say that'd probably be second. They're
Nice.
unread, untouched, mint condition. I'm just gonna leave them on my shelf.
That's right. That's good. I was just going to ask you, since you mentioned books a few times, what type of books you like, but there's one there.
Yeah, I pretty much read, like, fantasy books.
No, nice. Very good. Something different. So that's good. Outside of footy interests that you have.
I've too many hobbies to count, honestly. I've gotten a little bit into woodwork, some wood carving,
Oh, yeah.
do a bit of knitting, reading, play some games as well. But,
Nice.
yeah, just, it changes every month, so always find something new to do.
Bit of everything. Can't stick to some things sometimes too much.
Yeah, no, I get bored pretty quickly, so I'll come back to it eventually, but I'll quickly move on to the next thing.
That's good. Now, you just mentioned gaming there. Obviously, that's something that people talk about. Personally, I don't play much games anymore, for the last 5 years at least. Anyway, online gaming, that is. What are some of the go-to games that you would play?
Oh, at the moment, I've been pretty big on Helldivers. I think I've got a few friends that play with me, so that kind of makes it easier. It's more of a social thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm trying to get my uni friends back into our 2-week Minecraft phase.
Uh, yes, definitely heard of that one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
When you play all those games with mates and everyone else, does it it might sound stupid, but does it feel like a legitimate competition in terms of, like, obviously on a footy field there's legit points on the line and everything, but in terms of bragging rights and everything like that, do you, a bit of a flex type thing to make sure if you're in groups in games and you don't want to stuff up for the other, or you're competing against each other and you just want to win and you don't want to lose, just like it's a footy game?
Yeah, I don't really play too many PvP games, so usually it's, like you're working in a team with the people you're playing against, and I think that
Yeah.
still kind of reflects footy 'cause my favorite thing about it is working together with your teammates, and I
Yeah.
think that probably does reflect a little bit in the games I play.
That's good. When you said you did play soccer, it's always a really hot topic with soccer in terms of the acting, the staging, the diving, and everything like that. When you played Berkey, was there ever any of that? And did you ever be a part of that? And what do you think of people that do the diving, where they wait for the? This happens in footy too. This is not just soccer, but soccer obviously is more common. But where people stage for free kicks and they it look like they're being shot, and especially in soccer, and then the moment the free's paid, oh, they're magically back up.
Yeah. Oh, that was always something I couldn't stand in soccer. I would be telling my own teammates to get up off of the ground if they were carrying on. It was a big refresher when I came to footy and, like, you could tackle somebody and they just want to get straight back up and get back into the game and not carry on a bit. I don't mean to
Mm,
diss soccer, but it was definitely not an
mm,
aspect of the sport I miss. It's kind of
mm,
it's a little hard to respect at times, and I've always been somebody who, like, I enjoyed the physicality of the sport, just wanted to kinda get in there, so anytime
mm.
I had the opportunity to tackle in soccer or footy, I didn't really wanna hold back for fear of, your opponent diving, so I'm glad that's not
Yeah.
really a concern in footy.
For sure. Now, this could go anywhere, and I love the variety of people that give me these answers here. So I'm keen to see how you go with this, Berkey. If you could steal one or a few players from any other AFLW club to join the Saints, again, to be as unrealistic as you like, who are you poaching across from said clubs or club?
Oh, I would pinch Grace Kelly back from Adelaide
Mm.
easy. She
Don't let it
left,
play games back.
yeah, yeah. She left last year because, her partner went back to Ireland and she wanted to be with her family, which is fair enough
Yeah.
because she's back with her sister Neve now. Um,
Yes.
can't pass that up, but I loved Gelly, so I would take her back in a heartbeat.
Sure, that's a good answer. It's funny you mentioned Grace, because I had Adelaide's list boss at the time, Katrina, who well, I asked her about this, about the poaching of Grace and how it happened, Berkey, and I said, did St Kilda try and go the other way around and try and get Neve across? So you didn't lose Grace then?
Oh, I don't think Neve would come. She's got it pretty good over there, but
Mm.
I don't know too much about the inner workings of it all. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that Grace Kelly went into her exit meeting having heard nothing about the possible trade, and then
No.
our coaches brought it up thinking she was already planning on going. So
Okay.
there might have been a little bit of assumption there, but
Yeah.
yeah, a little after that, it was sad to see her go.
That's fair. Now, in your whole footy career, this can go back to Sandy, Dragons, or Juniors, Berkey. Footy accomplishments or premierships that you've ever won, or any sport, soccer as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say my biggest personal achievement was I won the best and fairest at Sandy Dragons a few years in a row, and I
Nice.
was really proud of that because I came from soccer, and soccer is very much, usually centered around the forwards and the mids who get the goals. So it was
Mm.
rare you kind of got any recognition in the back line for soccer.
Yeah.
Uh, I played in a few futsal national tournaments, and we won the national championship one year for that. And I think that was the first year Victoria had ever won. So
Mm.
that'll always be a big highlight for me.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned about playing in the back line and you're winning awards like that, which really are even at that level they're really centered towards mids, aren't they, and forwards that kick all the goals. And I have my own Scoops medal votes. That's what I call it for every league now. I've just started this year doing a VFW one at the AFLW one last year, and I've had an AFL
Yeah.
one as well for a few years, and actually for a few years with AFLW one. And last year, I don't know if you ever heard this. Watto may have brought this up over time, but I had 3 defenders get around 10 votes each. Watto, BT, Brendan from the Swans, and Charlie Thomas from the Eagles. So I
Yeah.
respect the defenders' works in the votes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, not many people do in the Brownlow. Which yep, that mid. Oh yeah, that mid. Oh yeah, that forward kick 3. Yeah, put her in. That's all you kind of read. And it is. I mean, I'm taking the piss out of it a little bit of how it goes, but it is a bit disappointing though that they don't get really recognised too much in votes like that, or even other awards that are at a high level as well.
Yeah. It's never really the flashy stuff that gets done in the back line, but it's still just as important. And yeah, I feel like footy is a lot better than most sports at recognizing all 3 lines, and you do feel
Mm.
valued in your team. Like, the coaches are always very big on everybody needing to do their part, and I do appreciate that footy has a very big "you're only strong as your weakest link" mentality.
For sure. Now, what are some goals, Berkey, that you've set for yourself this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think I didn't play a game last year because I was injured, but one of my goals would just be to play every game and get through everything. Then also I would love to help get my team to finals. So, and
Mhm.
I'd love to
I
go
do.
further than that. It would be in the goals,
Mm.
but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, legitimate goals, not just goals for the season. Legitimate goals. That'd be
Yeah,
good. Add
yeah,
that to the
100%.
add that to it for sure. That'd be pretty cool. Now you mentioned about Nat playing about being a bit annoying and too close for comfort sometimes. So what is some things that someone at the club does that you can't stand, whether it's leaving rubbish around as being annoying or anything that you've mentioned already?
Yeah. Oh, we're very big at cleaning up after ourselves, but I would say I think we've got a few girls when we're in the showers that don't wipe the little bench that you put all your clothes on. So
Oh yeah.
whenever you go in, you want to dump your stuff down, but it's all wet. I think that's about the only thing we don't clean up very well.
Mm,
Um, I think Ella friend, we've all got our lockers and we've all got boot storage, but I think
yeah.
she's decided to use the gap next to her locker to put all of her boots as like a second one. I'd probably say that's something. She did
Mm.
it once, but we'll never let her live it down.
That's fair enough. I mean, you have something happen once, it's probably going to stick, like you mentioned with the nickname Don and everything like that. So, I mean, some things just keep staying sometimes, don't they? But sometimes they don't. Now,
Yeah.
I've got a few more for you, Brooks. I really do appreciate you making some time to come on here today. Now, a week to week, what is a week to week like for you in the off season, pre-season, in season? What season of all those seasons is the busiest one?
Yeah, definitely 2022 when we had the 2 seasons in 1 year.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was yeah, probably I think most girls would say that was pretty hectic, but I'm studying full-time. I was studying
Yeah.
full-time in that year and also working at John Hollander Construction Company.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've got a few things going on, but that year was by far probably the busiest, doing 4 subjects a semester and then working part-time alongside footy for 2 seasons. I was a bit
Mm.
burnt out after that year.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Having all that, you wouldn't know what home feels like. It sounds what it sounds of it.
I knew my bed pretty well.
Yeah,
Just
that.
sleeping whenever I had a chance.
Yeah, that's it. Because even sometimes when I'm, seeing how many years people have played for, like, and I sometimes get fooled by that 2 seasons in 1 year. Like, I'm like, oh, you were drafted this year, so that's 3 years, and then they're like, oh, I played for my hat. What? Oh, right, that's right, the double season.
Yeah, yeah.
It always happens. Now, I've got to ask this about team photo days because I get some good answers out of this. So I'm going to see what you produce here. Now, team photo day, Berkey. I know I should have mentioned this before in the teammate side of things, but team photo days arrive, media days arrive, all these photo days and all this stuff. Who wants to overdo it? Who wants to want a bit of the center of attention? Who wants to make themselves look $1 million, even if they already do look like that? They just want to overdo it, or they just exaggerate it and got to be getting done and makeup and or whatever so much.
Yeah, well, the fake tan and the eyelashes is always a really big sight right before leading up to the photos. Last year, I think I was the only one who didn't fake tan, and I accidentally got seated next to Nick Xenos, she gets as dark as you can possibly get with a fake tan. I don't know how she does it. And honestly, it might be real. I don't know. I'm really bad at telling. But yeah, it made me, I looked like a pale ghost next to her last year.
I mean, at least you're not overdoing it like the rest of them then, by the sounds of it.
Oh, no, I think I'm just too lazy to do it.
Oh, so that's why. I just couldn't be bothered reading. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know how, but
is that a day on the calendar for some people at least that they just love that? Obviously, people have these days in the year that in footy related stuff or whatever that they want to mark down. Is this something that you feel like is getting a bit bigger now than what it ever was? Like at first it might have been something like, oh yeah, great photos, right, get out. But some people now love the day, like when you do the makeup stuff and you want to look great, that they love the occasion. They love the photo shoots.
yeah, it's definitely a mixed bunch when it comes to photo day. I think everyone just puts it in their calendars because you just want to make sure you don't rock up with hairs all greasy, got like nothing done, and I think it's a little important to make sure, like, this is technically your job that you're getting paid to do, so you still want to look presentable for it.
Sure.
But yeah, I think some girls probably just want to get it over and done with and get back to footy because it takes time out of your training schedule. But definitely a lot of girls who enjoy it because it's how the people who watch footy come to know you. Like, they look at your badges or your team photo or the whole group photo. It's how they identify you on the field. So yeah, you want to make a good impression.
For sure. And the last one, Berkey, I really do appreciate going on, Berkey, is just simply advice for people that are coming through the ranks in junior footy, and whether they're women or men as well, that want to get into the AFL and AFLW systems. What advice would you give people like that wanting to get in the system? And top of that, to the Saints fans out there, what can they expect for this season?
Yeah. I always say the same thing whenever I do school visits, but it's so much work to get into any highest level of sport. And to get there, you need to make sure that you enjoy it, because if you don't, there's so many hours that get spent training and pushing yourself, and there's a lot of work that goes into it for not as much reward. Because if you only enjoy the games, like, we have a longer preseason than an actual game season, so you can't really get to that point if you don't enjoy it. You got to have something that motivates you. And that goes for the men's and the women's. And if you're going for any sport at the highest level, you really have to have that enjoyment out of it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a bit miserable.
For sure, like a chore.
Yeah, 100%. And in terms of what the Saints fans can expect this year, honestly, everyone I've spoken to at the club, we're all kind of saying this year feels really good. It feels different, and we actually have a lot of hope for it. Our draw looks good. We're excited for the challenges that we have. We've got Adelaide round 1 straight off the bat, and like all the girls, we're ready for a fight. We really just want to get started with it. So fortunately, we still have another 8 or 7 weeks of preseason left to get through first before we get there. But yeah, I'm really keen to see what happens this season.
For sure, Berkey. It's been a pleasure having you on. I can't wait for the season to start. I mean, like you said, the preseason is longer than the season, and hopefully over time, we're talking about a very reduced time frame from the preseason, and then the games are much longer and a bit aligned where you're playing at least at a bare minimum everybody once, so that eliminates people going, oh, you haven't faced them, oh, we don't get to face them, and oh, you got an easier fixture, no, we got a hard one, everything like that. You would eliminate that if you play at least everyone once and have some double ups as well. Berkey, it's been a pleasure having you on. Good luck for the season. Hopefully you're back out there again very soon. Appreciate coming on.
No worries, Scoops. Thanks so much for having me.
Nice. Thanks, Berkey.